Mylar bags as well. Okay, we'll cover Mylar bags in a little bit. So okay, with your oxygen absorber, and if you were doing, say, flour, cornmeal, whatever for shorter term storage, but still having it, at the end of the life of this, you might want to start using it and kind of rotating your stuff out, and I've made the mistake in the past where I had to throw a bunch of stuff out. So what you do is actually put your product in there, okay, till about, and this has been shook up quite a bit, till about where the bottom ring is, like you normally would, okay. Make sure the edge of the jar is clean. You get you a moist towel, wipe it down. Make sure your lid is actually good and clean as well. Take the oxygen absorber, put it in the jar, and just take and put your lid on it, and this band, and to seal it. In about maybe 45 minutes to an hour, you'll hear a ping. It will actually collapse it.
Wow.
It's pulling all of the oxygen out of this jar. Oxygen is 20.8 of the atmosphere that you breathe. Okay, that's the air that you breathe.
Is there going to be anything else besides sugar that you don't use the oxygen?
Salt, you don't need it. Salt's not going to go bad. But the sugar, the only reason you do that, you don't use that for sugar, because it'll actually make it just one big old, give you low.
Did you say what size oxygen?
300 cc's.
For the quarts?
Yeah, and only because one size fits all. You can actually get by with a 100 cc if you buy these online. You're not going to save really that much money because you're going to have processing, and it's just the basic cost of the oxygen absorbers. They may cost you $1 or $2 more per 100. Just go with the 300s because.
Is that what those are there?
Yeah, these are 300s. And they'll come in a just a packages of 100 vacuum sealed like this. Okay, when you open up that package, you have your 2 large mouth mason jars. Kind of split the package up. Put half in one, half in the other, and you'll see a rag in here, a paper towel. Okay, for some odd reason in our humidity in this area here, if you open this jar, you go in and out, several times, getting oxygen, they'll start sweating on the inside. So I'll put I don't know why, I have no idea. I'll just put a rag in it just to soak up some of the moisture, because it just kind of feels funny, and I don't like, having any moisture in a lot of the, the goods here. So if you have, you can do potato flakes either ways. Potato flakes will actually do pretty good in the food saver, the vacuum, because you won't actually go up in here like flour will, or mixes like pancake mix and stuff. That's good for. Normally, what I'll do on pancake mix, and there's nothing scientific about this by any means, I'll extend the shelf life in a jar about a year from the date that's on the package, because the package is. It's just that it's kind of porous, and it's a thin plastic package. So I figure if I take all the elements out, I can get just a little extra shelf life out of it. And that's nothing scientific or proven about it, but it does work. Yeah.
Do you ever find that any of your oxygen absorbers fail? That you have to go back and kind of redo it because you don't hear the pink or anything like that? Do they all seem to work?
Yeah, if I don't accidentally leave them out and try to reuse them. But yeah, they'll 99% of the time they will, because whenever I have had a couple of them that failed, and I put another oxygen absorber in there, and it never did, and I knew these were good. Come to find out, underneath the lid, they had a little crease where the rubber is. So you kind of, and if it fails, it's no big thing. Just, throw that oxygen absorber out and take a look at it, make sure everything's sealed up. You don't have a crack in here or a chip in the jar. And try it again. If it fails again, take a real good look at that. Pitch the lid and get your new lid.
Or there's a crack in the jar. Maybe.
Or maybe a little crack in it. I have seen them where they've actually cracked up on top, just a little nip, up on top.
How long will the oxygen absorbers keep? Out before you put them in. If I buy a package of 100 of them.
That's what I weigh.
Yeah, you want to take and put them in there within about 20 minutes. Whenever I'm doing. In a couple of my YouTube videos there, I'll take and lay out all the jars. Say it takes 29 quart jars to do 50 pounds of rice. I do remember that. Okay, 20, maybe 29, maybe 30, and half of that for a 25-pound bag of rice. And I'll get everything ready. I'll have all the jars. When you put rice in here, if you watch one of the videos, you fill it and you kind of tap it, and it settles the stuff down. I'll do them all. Then I'll open up the oxygen absorber, sticking each one of them like that, and then go, right then. You don't want to get any more, like she said, about maybe 15, 20 minutes.
So the ones that you store, what you have left over, you put in a quart jar like that? How long how long is it fresh in there?
Oh, forever. I've had some when I was doing the stuff in Y2K back in 98, 99. I had some left over, and they were in a mason jar. They're still good. as long as you keep the oxygen.
But where do you get those on the internet?
Yeah, you can get them on the internet. Just Google search, eBay, Amazon. Yeah, it's another good place. Amazon's another good place. But if you guys ever go to Houston, going to LDS, really easy place to get to. You take FM 1960 into Houston. Okay, you go over 59, underneath 45, and it's like the second or third stoplight. You turn left. It's Hafner, H-A-F-N-E-R, Hafner Street. You take the left, and it's about a mile on the right-hand side.
You don't want to be a member of LDS.
No, you don't have to be a member. They will sell to
That's the,
Latter-day Saints.
right.
And that's a cannery. Yeah, they've got a cannery. They also have a store. You can't buy anything out of the store. A store is for needy people who'll have a coupon from the church, and they'll go in there and give them stuff. Go to the cannery side. And I'll tell you where the cannery is. And you walk in there and say, hey, look, I like to buy this, this, this. You go to providentliving.org. Provident, okay, it's spelled just like it sounds, providentliving.org. And you'll come up with a site. And I think at there's one tab that says locations, and you can get the exact location and punch it in your GPS, and it'll take you right to it. And also too, at the bottom left-hand side, I think it's called Food Storage Form or something like that. They'll have all the things that they sell and the price. You open it up and punch in how many you want of what, and it'll tally up for you. And you print that off and bring it with you. That way you don't forget anything, and you kind of have an idea about how much money to bring with you. They do take cash.
Down on the left.
Yes. Yeah, you'll see it. It's on. You may have to look around, but it's on there. And they have a PDF and an Excel. They open up an Excel that way you can punch the numbers in. And it'll calculate everything for you. So their potato pearls are delicious. They're to die for, but they don't keep real long. They maybe have 2-year shelf life on them.
Oh, really?
But they're
Do they tell you that's about 2 years?
Yeah, they will tell you. Yeah, they will tell you that. Okay.
Someone in another class was mentioning about the LDS.
Uh-huh.
She said she was raised in the LDS.
Okay.
And that the information she gave was that it's cash and carry.
Yeah.
They don't write down any information on you. They don't write down anything about how much you purchase or any of that, things like that.
Yeah.
That was just a point that she made over there, but you do have to bring cash.
Yeah, yes and no anymore. Okay, we used to buy from them, but actually we still do, and that's where I buy the cans from, and some of the other stuff. It used to be I'd fill it out and it's write your name and your address and everything. So I don't have a problem with that. And now they take a debit card. So if you don't feel like if you get a big order, you don't feel like carrying that much cash with you, bring your debit card. They will not take a credit card. They'll take debit cards. They're closed on Mondays. I'm not an LDS member, but I know all this because they go there all the time. All that. They're closed on Mondays, and they're open from 8 to 4 Thursday through Friday, and from 8 to noon on Saturday. Really good people. I can't say enough nice things about those guys over there. Those people over there. One of the men I used to deal with all the time is retired, and some new people has moved in, but they're just as nice.
You said 1960 over 59 under 45.
Yep, and about three
How far down?
About 3 stoplights.
3 lights to
About
Hafner.
yeah, to Hafner. And there's a Papa's Barbecue, and I think a Taco Bell. And when you see those two, turn left. And it's about a mile, maybe 2 miles on the right-hand side. You kind of go back out into the country just a little bit. In the summertime, if you go, somebody's got a really, really big garden. Huge garden. And when you pull into the parking lot, when you look at this, it's a long building, and it's like the second to last door, all the way to the left. But if you happen to go in the wrong door, they'll tell you where to go. They'll help you out. So they're real nice people.
8 to 4.
8 to 4 Thursday through Friday.
Thursday to Friday.
Yeah, and
They just have beans and rice and.
they've got potato
Flour.
flakes. Now, some of the things that you want to buy, I should have did a class on LDS. Some of the things that is cheaper at Sam's Club, they used to be really cheap. They had Sam's Club beat by about 50% at one time. But I think in March of last year, about this time of last year, they had one heck of a price increase on their stuff. Wheat more than doubled. Potato flakes doubled. Macaroni doubled. It's just they just couldn't hold the prices anymore. They sell it at cost.
Can you do macaroni and spaghetti and stuff like that in those jars?
Mm-hmm. You sure can. Anything that's dry. Now macaroni, you would vacuum seal it with a machine. If you don't have a vacuum machine, you'd use 2 oxygen absorbers only because macaroni is so porous. Mm-hmm. You have to figure out about how much air is in the jar.
Any type of pasta, right?
For the most part, yeah. Because this right here has very little to no air in it. And you'll see this has got a little bit more room for air, in pasta, macaroni stuff has quite a bit. But anymore, your best deals over there are powdered milk, Okay, that's one of the best deals going. You can't buy powdered milk as cheap as they have it. Potato flakes, the apple chips, and your whole wheat, your white and your red, and maybe one or two other items. But check at Sam's, before you go, and kind of their rice, and they sell rice and sugar and stuff, but you can get it just as cheap
They
at
have
Sam's.
refried beans, because I've had some of the refried beans.
Yeah, they do have
Refried
refried
beans is wonderful.
I hadn't tried those yet. Okay, I've gone down most of the menu, but the oats, they had rolled oats as well. I think 25-pound bag for maybe $15. You can't beat some of the prices on some of the things, so.